Are we live?
Yeah.
What is it, 2 years in the making?
What's up? This is Lauren. This is one of my best friends from high school. She is the first woman on this podcast.
The first person on this podcast.
First object on this podcast. That was a bad sexist joke. I'm sorry.
More to come.
Yeah.
More where that came from.
Today we're making a favorite childhood dish of Lauren's, chicken piccata. She said she's never actually made it before, but her mom used to make it, and she loves when her mom makes it. So, let's begin. Chicken piccata begins with the chicken itself.
I mean, I was gonna act like he knows how to make it, but he's never actually made it.
I've never made chicken piccata before either, so.
Am I supposed to help in this?
You don't need to help at all. You just need to talk and be pretty and look pretty and do your
Let's help
thing.
a little bit.
Okay. Well, if you want us to help out, we need stuff right here. Can you mince these shallots?
I don't know how to mince.
Fuck. Okay.
I just cut. That's cutting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Just
fine.
cut them. Just cut them. All right, Lauren. First question. Can you just introduce yourself? Kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, what do the fans want to know? My name is Lauren Elwer. I'm 22. Just graduated from Gonzaga, where I majored in sport management and played soccer. I'm doing medical sales now and living with my sister back in Boise. And known this lovely guy for, 9 years? 10 years?
Yeah, I think 8 years now, actually.
8 years.
Okay, so first step here is that we are seasoning the chicken. We're just doing salt, and then we're gonna do pepper on both sides. One note with chicken, similar to that earlier video with the, I think I also cooked chicken in there too. Chicken, what?
You have another video?
I've got 2 other ones.
Oh.
Is that chicken releases fluids when you put salt on it. So what we're gonna have to do is eventually we're going to have to pat down the chicken to get some of the moisture off that. So that way when we put it in the pan, it is going to not sizzle as much. So we got that. We can let that sit for a minute, let kind of some of the water come out. And then we're gonna wrap them in a paper towel and just get some of the liquid out. The next step is actually gonna be getting our flour ready. Chicken piccata is made by drenching these in flour.
I can't wait for you to just butcher this.
And then using an olive oil butter mixture. But let's get back to some questions. Lauren, okay. So you played soccer in college.
Yep.
D1 athlete. That's pretty impressive. What was a highlight of that college career and experience?
Highlight. Oh. It's my alarm to clock out.
She's a popular.
Highlight, I would say, right now I'm in like my freshly done stage, so there's not a lot that was like a highlight, if that makes sense. Like looking back, I know it was like the best time of my life. But right now it's like so good to have freedom that I can't really remember all the good.
Okay.
And like
Totally.
I just had injuries, just everything. But I would say the best was just, as cliche as it is, the people I met.
Okay.
And the experience it gave me for like moving back out here. Like I wouldn't have my dream job without it. Any of that. So I would just say all around.
Okay.
Probably not the soccer part. Probably everything else.
Okay. What is your least favorite part about that?
Probably the mental aspect. Like every single day, it is just a mind game. Like the worst mind game.
What kind of mind game? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, like every single day you could do good at one practice, and the next day you do bad, and you're not on the starting lineup. Like it's just every single day. You would wake up and you would be like, okay, I need to eat this for lunch today, so I can do this for practice. And maybe some people weren't as like serious about it, but I'm very like measured my like worth on how I did in college soccer. So just like every single day, knowing that like if I had a bad practice, that would just affect my whole outlook the next day.
Really?
Yeah.
What was like the worst point that ever got to?
I would say Probably the best was freshman year because there's no expectations freshman year. Everyone always has like a lights out freshman year. And then I would say probably it got progressively worse until senior year. I was like, it's my last year. I'm just gonna have fun with it.
Okay.
But even that mindset, it still is hard to have. You know, you have to remind yourself that every single day.
Sure.
And it's just like exhausting.
What were like? Do you have any like stories of like that building up over time and just kind of maybe, I don't know if manifesting itself is the right word, but like maybe coming to fruition all at once? Where you felt like you're like at your limit?
I would say I remember it was my birthday. It was junior year, and it was August 6th. I was always in preseason, like kicked off. And I remember just sobbing with my friend, and we drove around, and I was like, this is the first day of preseason, and I've already hit my breaking point in the first day of season. Like,
wow.
I am so screwed for the season. So I just remember being like, I don't know how much more this can build.
Okay.
And then just like every single year I'd be like, it's a clean start. And then, I mean, at one point during every single season I hit a breaking point, whether that was injuries, whether that was mental health. And you can't really show that either.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like every single person I talk to, even people I talk to on the team now are like dealing with that. And I look back and I'm like, it was not that deep.
Yeah.
Once you're out of it, but it's like once you're in it, it's like it's what's paying you to go to school. It's
so
the reason you're at
important
that
to
school.
you.
It's everything.
Sure.
And so it's harder, easier said than done.
Very interesting. I believe that. What is like something? So you've obviously sacrificed. You've worked really hard for soccer your whole life. Looking back, is there anything that you really like devoted yourself to, or like really sacrificed a lot for that didn't ultimately like mean that much to you in the end, or that you realize is like maybe silly looking back now, or do you not regret, you know, all of that? Is there anything, I guess, just looking back that you felt was like, I can't believe I took that so seriously, or I can't believe I put so much like of my self-worth or value on that?
Man, I would say soccer again, not to rag on it, but
yeah.
Like as you know, I have hip surgery coming up in October, and I had to go to brain therapy as well.
Therapy.
And I went to brain therapy when I was at Gonzaga, and so I was just like, the limits I push my body to, like I'm a very natural, or like somebody who just gets hurt a lot. I didn't even know that until getting into college. But the limits I pushed my body to, I just looking back, I'm like, that was not worth it. I'm miserable now. I was so excited to be done with soccer and like do my own workouts. I can't even do like half those. So I mean, I can't rag on soccer. It wasn't all soccer, but it was just like the unfortunate events of that.
Okay.
And so I don't regret soccer as a whole because it got me here, but I do regret taking it so seriously and like pushing my body to those points, if that makes sense.
Totally.
I'm sure I could have the exact same experience if I didn't stress myself out every single day.
Yeah.
And hurt my body. I'd still know the same people.
Yeah.
I'd still have the same job probably.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sure. Very interesting. Okay. Very interesting.
Is this minced enough? I also thought this was garlic. Is this onion?
It's a shallot. It's an onion. Yeah, which is a product of the onion tree. Wonderful clarifying question, right? Love the curiosity.
I think I hated soccer this whole 4 years.
So what? Okay. So you felt like soccer was kind of tough from that spot.
Yeah.
What was like maybe the greatest lesson that came from that? Or any great stories that also came from soccer?
Great stories, all my best memories, where I got to travel, people I met, just like funny stories, everything. But I would say the greatest lesson I learned was to find my worth outside of soccer. And I just started realizing once it came to a close, like I've been doing soccer for 19 years. Yeah. I need to find like something outside of that. And I don't know if I would have been like as motivated to pursue work or pursue other things had I not had soccer, because it just was, I knew it was all coming to like an abrupt close, and it kind of like pushed that, because I was like, I've done something my whole life, I need to find something else. Whereas if I wasn't playing soccer, I might have just been like, oh, I'll figure it out. I always figure it out. Totally. So I was really proactive about just like figuring out what I wanted to do with my next steps in my life. And now that I'm in these next steps, like I've carried my work rate through soccer, especially doing sales. I feel like that's all measured on how hard you work. Yeah. So. I would say that. Very interesting. A lot of people. It seems like you've made a really seamless transition from college
to now the working world. Were you apprehensive at first for entering the workforce, or how did you feel about it? I think a lot of people in our generation are definitely like afraid of it. Generally, they're worried I think people are worried about like losing out on like certain things in life and kind of work-life balance, which is like the buzzword of today.
Yeah.
For our generation. Were you worried about that at all, or was that not ever like a thought, really?
I would say work-life balance was a thing. I like put that in my search bar when I was looking for jobs.
Okay.
I was like, what jobs have good work-life balance?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, sales has decent.
Yeah.
If you can get your stuff done and be on top of it.
Agreed.
But I feel like it was a very smooth transition for me. I also just like to be busy.
Yeah.
And again, as someone who's been busy for 19 years, I wanted something that I could just pour all my time into.
Sure.
So I'm kind of treating this as like my sport in a sense of like, I do this 8 hours a day, I train for this, you know, and then afterwards I get to have fun and relax. So
okay,
nice. Try to balance it. Yeah.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna wash my hands.
Okay, go for it, please. Okay, we're putting butter onto the stove. We're gonna put olive oil on next. And we're gonna let that come up to temperature. Once that's ready, it is then going to be time for the chicken. And then after the chicken's cooked, it's gonna be time for the sauce. Lauren, there is a surprise step in here, and the surprise step is that I don't know when to add the capers to this. So I'm gonna need a little. I want to like consult with you on when you think we should add it. So it'll happen at some point.
I think we throw in the sauce at the end.
I think I agree with you.
Because I don't think you want warm capers.
No, that sounds gross. I agree.
There's one more in here. Just hiding.
We can leave that there. I don't think we're gonna need all those. Yeah, it's a lot of shallots.
Okay.
I like the energy though.
I don't think I've ever had shallots in my chicken piccata.
Really?
Maybe I have.
That's what the sauce says. Okay. Okay, so you felt like soccer was less kind of, not meaningful, but like you realized it wasn't as important as like you put the value on.
I realized it probably wasn't my entire life.
Yeah.
It's probably just a very good chapter of my life that didn't need so much pressure on it.
Yeah. Did you realize that after you got out of college, after you got out of soccer, or did you realize that kind of while you were playing?
Afterwards.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Did you feel like you're now like losing out on a part of yourself? Because I mean, you're such a competitive person. Soccer's been such a big part of your life. Do you feel like you're missing out on any part of yourself?
I think I was so afraid of that. Like as dramatic as it is, like that was my whole life.
Yeah.
That I like tried to slowly. I almost checked out too soon senior year.
Really?
Just because I like wanted to make sure I could transition. So for me now, I don't feel like I'm like missing out on a part of me, and like I'm still like physically active, and I still maybe I'm missing out a little bit on like just having that like team, that camaraderie, like the relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm missing out on playing soccer or anything like that.
Okay, totally interesting. I get that. What are some passions of yours that you pursue now?
Great question, Emile. I like to go on walks. I like to work out. I love to work out.
That's also really unique.
I like to read. I'm trying to think of something that's
I'm just
unique.
kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I'm like gonna start spiraling. I'm like, I don't have passion.
No, I'm just giving you crap.
I should find more, but I don't know what people do these days. That's unique.
What do kids do these days?
I don't know.
That's unique?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think one could argue that working right out of college in a full-time job is kind of unique.
Actually, I guess that's fair.
I think a lot of people in our generation, I have a lot of friends that still don't have like a full-time job after graduating college.
Very fair. Okay.
Which is really interesting. It's not like a shunning thing. It's just an interesting thing to me. Because that's, you go to college to basically increase your earning potential and to learn, of course, which theoretically increases your earning potential. But there's a lot of people that don't really reap that benefit from what I can tell, or don't want to capitalize on it after they've gone through all that work and all that struggle for those years in college. Did you feel like, I don't know, I think that's pretty unique that you did that, and it seems like you're pretty successful at your job right now.
That's fair. I was thinking, okay, yeah. No, I like that answer. You just picked my answer for me. It's better.
Great.
I was thinking like surfing, how you surf. I
Yeah.
want to get into something like that.
Okay. What are some parts of your life that you feel like, well, okay, actually, here's the next question. What is your favorite quality about yourself?
Ooh. I would say I am a very positive person.
Okay.
And I like to find the little joys.
Okay. What are some little joys that you found today?
My coffee, always my morning coffee.
Mm-hmm.
My walk. I don't know, I love my little me time.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I try to find little joy in each day.
Okay.
So that's probably my favorite quality. Like I can always have like a very bad day, but I always have little good parts within
Yeah.
it.
I feel like a lot of people these days are, generally speaking, kind of down on themselves, maybe sad a little bit. Do you have any advice for people that just like have really negative feelings commonly, or maybe just like, I don't know if not enjoying life is the proper word, but are really just maybe constantly frustrated or down? Because I feel like that's really rare, especially I think girls especially can be really negative and hard on themselves.
Yeah.
And I think finding those little joys is a really essential part.
Yeah, I would just
Why?
say find something you like and stick to it. So like I know I like my morning coffee, which is such a little thing, but no matter how like crappy my day is, I know I have my little morning coffee. I'll have like my 5 minutes to myself. It's a good little morning. So
Totally.
I don't know. It's always something I can look forward to.
Okay, I love it. What is a quality about yourself that you wish you could change?
My sensitivity, which you didn't agree with. I told you this one.
Oh yeah, okay. So
I am very sensitive.
Lauren and I talked about this question the other week.
We did.
And she said she was really sensitive, which to me made absolutely zero sense. Because Lauren's not that sensitive, in my experience. Side note, we're now putting the chicken piccata in the pan. I think I could have waited a little longer for this pan to heat up, but it's gonna be fine. That's gonna come up, it's gonna brown nicely.
A lot of heat going on in this kitchen. I'm hot.
If you need to, we are in your house. You can do a wardrobe change,
Okay.
and no one
No,
will.
this is fun.
No one will judge. Okay. So why do you feel like it's normal that you're really sensitive? Is that like a normal girl thing?
No, I think I'm more sensitive than the average girl, which I don't think it's a bad thing because I think I'm very in tune with my emotions, but I just think it makes my life a little bit harder.
How so?
Just like if somebody texts me like without the right punctuation, like that's gonna get me down for like an hour, whereas someone else, like, yeah, I mean not with you because I know how you're gonna text me.
Yeah.
Or like if I say something wrong to somebody, like in it, they're like, oh, that kind of hurt my feelings. I'm thinking like they're sobbing all day when it's really they were like, dang, that sucks.
Wow,
Like,
that's so
I know. So it honestly just makes it harder on me, but I do like how in tune with my emotions I am. I feel like that's also why I'm such a positive person. So
Okay.
I mean, I probably can't have one without the other.
No,
So.
you probably can't. That's very wise.
I'll take it. Yeah.
That's wise.
Thanks, Emile.
What is a common struggle of being a 20-year-old professional saleswoman?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can just even say,
Okay.
or we can even just go to being a woman that.
Well, I guess it kind of ties in, but I would
With
say
that.
it kind of ties in with like being a woman working. I would just say having to like overly prove yourself.
Okay.
Like I get on a conference call and it's like 40 guys.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I have to like say something or I have to like be like more prepared, whereas these guys are like, I'm sure they're like sitting in their boxers behind their Zoom desk, like just shooting the shit.
Yeah.
Um,
That's funny.
yeah. So I would say just feeling like you have to go above and beyond
Okay.
all the time.
Okay.
That ties outside of work as well.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I can't relate to the woman part of it, but I can definitely relate to being the youngest person on the sales floor in my company, and knowing that people are going to treat me differently because of that, and knowing that they're not gonna like want to trust my opinions.
But then you have all your guys you can go brawl out with.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm not gonna go do that. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So it's kind of isolating, but
Totally agree.
I kind of lucked out. I do feel like I have a good amount of girls, at least in my like little group right now. In our like associate position.
Totally.
But then once you see like all the promotions people hire up are all guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that intimidating, you feel like?
No, it's just so interesting. I feel like times are changing.
Yeah, I would agree.
So there's just like such a big age gap with all these guys, and I'm like, I don't know where all the ladies are. Because I see a lot of girls like sales reps and stuff. I don't know.
Why do you think they're not up there? Do you think it's like, do you think it's them not getting the promotions, or do you think it's like them just losing interest in it and changing careers or jobs potentially in the company? Why do you think that is?
I don't know, honestly, because there is a big age gap. The girls I know are all like my age, a little bit older. Couple like 40, and then all the guys are like 60, way up there.
Yeah.
Maybe they just like, after a while got burnt out or something, switch career paths. That's actually a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll have to think on that one. Emile.
What, let's see. For context to the viewers as well, I'm not operating my own kitchen, as you can tell. And Evelyn, I apologize in advance for
That's gonna be so mad.
anything I do.
Is Ev one of your viewers?
No, not yet. I need to get her on.
How many viewers am I talking to right now?
You're probably talking to 20 people.
Perfect.
Probably.
There'll be 21 after this. I haven't been a viewer before.
Okay, there we go. We got okay. Now, I made a mistake right here. This is not brown enough, so we're going to put that back down.
Yeah.
Let that sit. We're actually going to turn up the heat a little bit, too.
You can turn it down, too.
You are a wise woman.
Thank you.
Has anyone ever told you that?
Rarely.
What? Okay. All right. So we've talked about soccer. We've talked a little bit about school. Let's see. What's an interesting topic about yourself, you think?
Something I find interesting.
I actually have a fantastic topic after this.
Oh, give it to me. Just give it to me now.
Okay. So Lauren and I have discussed this many times, and it's a topic about pay in sports and the discrepancy between men and women's pay.
Emile likes to get controversial.
No, it's not controversial. I think it's really interesting, and it's a fascinating topic, I think. So, what is your take on women's pay in sports?
I feel like I can't win either way because I am a woman, so I should say equal.
Okay.
Which I do think equal, but I also understand the logistics of how that takes time.
How so? Can you elaborate on that?
Just with like bringing in revenue
Okay.
and bringing in fans. But I also just think it should be equal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Or maybe even more for like women's soccer team. Like, it should be more for us, for females. There's some things where I don't even think it should be equal.
Okay. What do you think your strongest argument for equal pay in that sense?
For the women's soccer team?
Yeah.
They're better. They do better.
In what capacity?
In the capacity of they have won the World Cup, they make it far. The men's team is like not good.
Okay, so from a performance level, you think that is the metric?
Yeah.
That should measure compensation.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, what about in the context of entertainment? Because that's what sports are.
Yeah, I think it's way more entertaining to watch girls play soccer.
Okay.
I don't think anyone is that interested in watching men play soccer.
For the record, there's a contact on the floor of this apartment.
There's lots. I want to hear your performance argument.
Well, my argument is that if the players are able to get the salaries they do because of the money generated from their games and fans attending and merchandise and the team and that stuff.
Okay.
So it's like if people are watching, I don't know, if there's a million people watching the men's game versus 500,000 watching the women's game, wouldn't it make sense that the men would earn more money from that?
No, because they're not performing.
Right, but they're performing for a
old,
larger audience.
Yes, but I just feel like that's such an old cottage way. Like it's starting to even out. Might as well just even it out now. You know what I mean? Like there's no incentive for girls to play well, even though they are still so much better. But they're not getting compensated more for how well they play.
Sure.
And there's no reason for the guys to play well because they're already making millions playing horrible.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Do you think then?
So
Okay.
it's totally ruining the integrity of sports.
The integrity of sports. In what way?
The way I just said.
Yeah. Do you want to taste this?
Is it not good?
No, I think it's cooked. I just want to confirm that it is. Do you just want it on your hand?
Yeah.
Dude.
Good.
I think that's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, alright, done.
Is there something in there?
Off. Salt.
Oh.
Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, nice browning on the bottom side. We're now going to flip that away the other direction. Let's see, this other one I think is going to be far prettier.
I hate your sports questions because I can't speak well to them because I'm not like a good sports talker.
Okay. That's alright.
But it's just like a common frustration. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's just,
totally. And I can imagine it being frustrating.
Also, as a woman who's played sports, I'm not going to sit here and say that they shouldn't be paid equally. Or that ever makes sense. Even if you can justify it, it doesn't mean it's like fair or makes any sense.
Sure. I get that.
So can we agree on that?
Next
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know, Lauren. That's a really it's such an interesting subject because I definitely understand your take on it, and it's like, how can you defend non-equal pay? What's your best argument for non-equal pay?
Where are you having me?
I'm having you like
just
disagree with
completely
yourself.
rebuttal what I said.
Yeah.
Women's sports don't bring in as much revenue, so therefore they shouldn't get paid as much.
And what's in your greatest argument for it is that you guys perform when you play a game and you do the same
thing. They're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
If anything, they're having to work harder at it. And also they don't get, if you don't pay them the same, then there's not a much reason for as many women to pursue sports. So it's like it's never going to be equal. Performance or all that is never, revenue is never going to be equal if you don't give them a level playing field in the first place.
Okay.
Like I know so many women that just could play college or play soccer or whatever post college, but it's not, for a lot of people, it's not a realistic thing to pursue because you're not making anything.
Okay.
Whereas men, you're probably going to make a little more and you could actually make a legit career out of it.
Yeah.
So you just lost like hundreds of women that could potentially change the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Who do you think is the greatest women's soccer player?
I really don't watch it much.
Oh my God! You can't talk about the entertainment. Then.
Yeah, I can.
You can't talk about the
totally
entertainment.
can. I would say
You don't watch men's soccer though either. To be
Yeah.
fair. You don't
Oh,
watch.
I would say Messi. I love Messi.
I said women's soccer players.
I would say.
Silly woman. I love you.
I would say. Oh, I think Sophia Smith
Okay.
is like up and coming. I think she'll be the greatest.
Okay.
But
What do you
yeah,
think about
I don't
Rapone?
really. Who?
Rapone?
Rapone?
Yeah.
Rapina?
Is that her name?
Rapone, you heard it here.
I'm ignorant.
She's great. She's awesome. What do you want me to dig out with her?
I don't know. She just kind of poops on the U.S. is my opinion in terms of her opinions,
Fair.
and is like not very like I don't know if she's like the greatest representative of our country.
But she's not being paid to represent our country. She's being paid to play.
When you're right.
I don't think she should like.
When you go to the World Cup, are you representing your country, or are you going there for the money? You're probably going for the country because it's like
I guess.
it's like a
But
celebration.
like, where else would she go? If she's playing soccer at the highest level. She can't go to and play in a different country she likes.
I mean, she could. I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo plays in Saudi Arabia now, and Messi plays in the U.S. instead of Europe.
I guess.
So it's like you could certainly go somewhere else.
I would think she's trying to make a change. I don't think she's just sitting there shitting on the U.S. while playing at the World Cup. I think she's trying to like actively get something out of her day and make a difference.
Okay.
So I think she's leveraging off of that, using it wisely. I don't think she's just like, nothing's gonna change. I hate the U.S. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Alright, cool.
Heat it up.
Okay.
Alright.
Let's see. What's your hottest take?
My hottest take.
Your hottest take.
What's an example of a hot take?
Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza, which is
Oh,
like
okay,
that's like
okay.
just like a silly opinion. But you could also go something extreme, like you think Trump is the greatest president in history. Some people would probably call that a hot take.
I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to.
The hottest take I have. Can I think of that like throughout and then you'll
Yeah,
ask me later?
totally. Yeah.
You should have prepped me with that one. I
I
feel like I
know.
have some hot takes.
You totally have some hot takes.
No, I totally do.
I know you do.
I'll have to think on that.
Okay. Well, she was thinking. I'm gonna give a quick update on the food.
Yeah.
The chicken piccata is
Those are hot
cooking
takes.
still. We've got the pasta boiled. We got this funny looking, kind of swirly looking deal. It's pretty good. So we're gonna wait on this. We've got some nice browning in the bottom of the pan. We're gonna scrape that up. Once this chicken's fully cooked through and we've got nice browning on both sides, we're then gonna put the chicken into the oven and make the sauce for the pasta. Look at that. That is nice browning on that side. So that might be good. And I like that browning there as well. We're gonna give that a couple more minutes and then we're gonna put it into our little pan right here. Once that's done, we're gonna add our chicken breasts. We're gonna add some lemon juice. And we're gonna add our shallots. We're going to basically reduce it after adding that and make kind of a sauce is what's gonna happen after that.
I thought of my hot take.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear
Everything
it.
I was scrolling was like political.
Yeah.
Chicken is probably the most disgusting food you can eat.
Okay.
The most disgusting. Oh, also water.
What?
Is
Without
like
water?
I can't drink it usually without like gagging.
Why?
I hate water and I hate chicken, but I only like chicken piccata. That's the only time I eat chicken.
Okay, so those are two things you need to say.
Those are two hot takes.
Why is chicken the grossest meat?
I hate it.
Why?
I hate the taste. It makes me like want to gag.
It tastes like nothing.
It tastes so bad. When I was younger, my mom would set the microwave timer. She's like, you have to eat this and then you can have dessert. And I'd sit there over like one of those trash cans and I would just eat it.
What, dude?
And sometimes I would hide it in my cheek and go throw up in the toilet.
You're so
I hate it.
funny. Okay.
So that's my hot take, because people do like chicken and water.
Okay, but you don't like water.
I hate water.
Why do you hate water?
That's why I have all my little things to put in it up there. I
Okay.
hate the taste of it also.
You hate the taste of water.
I hate the taste of it. It like tickles something in the back of my throat.
Okay. That is really weird.
It's a very unpolitical hot take.
Chicken is cooked. We're now going to put it into the oven. I'm not going to lie, it's supposed to have a little bit more of a crust, but I really don't know what I'm doing. So.
Was there supposed to be breadcrumbs? Or is that the
No, this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a floury crust.
And then can we turn off the burner?
Nope, we're leaving that on because now we're adding our chicken stock and some lemon juice. So Lauren, you're gonna be in charge of quick dip on the lemons. Give them a roll. Get some kind of juicy beforehand. Wait, can you elaborate? Why don't you like the taste of water? Water's...
I just never liked it. I used to drink in high school. Oh, it's fine.
I've juiced
What
myself.
yeah, what are these Winco lemons?
They are.
Probably just.
Winco's the best predators.
Do you actually think so? That's a hot take.
That's not true.
That's a hot take.
Okay.
What was I gonna say?
Boys into that?
In high school, I think I'm like not even like saying this to make it up. I would probably have a cup of water, like a mini cup, like this, every 2 days.
And you still somehow became a college level athlete.
I hated water. I've gotten better. I drink like 2 of these a day now.
Wow.
I'm getting good. This is still what, like
Why
20
do you
ounces?
why do you dislike water?
It makes me like sick, and I hate when it's sloshing around in my stomach.
What?
We change the subject. It actually makes me nauseous.
Dude, okay. All right, we're done. Do you have a
your
can
hot take?
opener?
We might.
I might not as well. From my small observation.
Oh wait, this one?
That's not a freaking can opener.
I think Ev has one.
Silly goose. I didn't see one, so we're gonna have to get creative.
What do we do?
I'm not using that. Do you have a screwdriver?
Yeah, we do.
Pass me the screwdriver.
What's your other hot take?
We're gonna get creative.
That's not a.
My hot take,
Yeah.
non-political.
Yeah.
Jeez.
See, it's hard on the spot.
It is hard on the spot.
I'm sure I'll text you like 5 of them tonight.
I think. Oh God. I think. God, wait, that's political. I can't say that. I was gonna say that I think birth control was like was probably the source of like the greatest turning points politically in the United States. Okay. Because it opened so many doors for things. I'm gonna snag a hammer too. But that's political, so we can switch the subject.
This is 90% of our relationship is Emile saying political stuff and me shutting him down.
This is somewhat true. Let's see, what else is there? Okay. Quick tip on the stock is that make 2 holes. That way, air can flow through. So now we can add this slowly, but we can add it. Okay, non-political hot take. Jeez. Jeez, aliens are real?
Oh, that's a good one. I feel like most people think that.
Real. Probably not that hot of a take.
I think mermaids are real.
Okay, now that is just like a goofy thing to say.
No. You think? We've discovered more of the Earth and space than we have of the ocean. That's not a hot take at all.
We know, I think you were trying to say we know more about the moon than we know about...
I said Earth. We know more about Earth than we do about water. The ocean. Maybe not. We cut that out.
Like the surface of the planet? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, about like land.
Yeah, okay, that's accurate.
I'm gonna cut that out.
No. These are unedited.
Raw clips.
What have you found to be an enjoyable challenge in your life?
An enjoyable challenge? I would say right now I'm in between phases of life.
Okay.
And I probably complain about it more than I should.
It happens.
But like I'm not even in a new place. Like this is not new at all. I've lived in Boise my whole life, or Eagle. But just like coming back and only having like Ev and you, I would say has been a big challenge, especially because I'm a very social person.
You are social.
And I like need people around me. So now I like find myself stressing about my weekends. I'm like, I want to work. Like I just want to stay busy. So I'd say that's a challenge right now, but it is enjoyable. It's exciting. And I was just talking to my boyfriend about this. I feel like it makes me like a lot more appreciative, you know?
Totally.
Like a lot more present.
Totally.
I remember the other day there was a thunderstorm, and usually I'd like roll over, go back to bed. But
Really?
I set up a little towel, I sat on the porch, I was like, this is so fun. Like, I don't know, just like little things now.
I actually really like that.
It was, did you see it?
Yeah, it was literally one of the coolest thunderstorms in like the history of
I had a little tear down my cheek. I was like, this is perfect.
Dude, it was, for the people that weren't there, which is probably most of you, it was I think it was a heat storm or heat lightning. So it was just like constantly going off for like multiple hours. Yeah. It would just light up everything, but it never hit the ground, which was really interesting. I think maybe it happened like once or twice, but like for the amount of times that there was lightning happening, oh my gosh, there's just like purple everywhere.
And usually I'd be like just talking to people, not paying attention, you know what I mean? Or like sleeping and being like, oh, I have a busy day tomorrow.
Sounds like a very human moment.
I know.
That's cute.
Played Zach Bryan's new album.
Oh.
It was really
What's
good.
your favorite song from that album?
I don't even know the names of anything right now. I've only listened to it once through, and that was at like midnight that night.
Okay.
So I need to.
But you enjoyed it?
I did.
Who's your favorite artist?
Wow. Favorite artist?
Brutal.
I would say probably like Luke Combs.
Okay.
Basic.
What's
you know who I'm starting to like is Rufus.
I don't know who that is, but I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really Taylor Swift.
T-Swift.
Why did I not say that? I was like I feel like I have one. I feel like there's somebody I listen to all the time.
That's funny.
Have you ever gotten into Taylor Swift's song?
I think we have enough on the juice, but if you want to, you totally can. Okay. You're so funny. Okay. What? Okay. Another just odd question that no one else can answer. What is the hardest part about being a woman?
Hardest part about being a woman?
Yep. I was gonna garnish with these, and I've absolutely butchered cutting them, so I'm no longer gonna garnish with those, and I've given up. Just
part about
weak
being
of me,
a woman.
but I did it.
Just the constant criticism, you know what I mean? Even if it's just like yourself, you're criticizing yourself that maybe you're not doing enough, or
so
there's
internal.
people, yeah,
criticism
internal.
too.
Girls are like, men put a lot of pressure on women, and women put a lot of pressure on women. Like all around, it's just it's a brutal world out there at
Really?
times. Like I love being a woman, obviously, but yeah. I
But
don't
it's
know.
hard at times.
It is hard.
And you feel like the constant criticism is probably part of that.
Yeah, because girls will criticize each other more than men will.
I think women
A lot
are
of the time.
absolutely brutal.
But
I think women
Which
are
sucks.
so savage.
so brutal.
Women are so savage.
I know.
Especially to each other though.
Yeah.
Like
no, that's
I
what I'm
think
saying.
women can be really harsh on men, and frankly I think a little too harsh sometimes. But like women, even like on women, are
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't.
different animals, dude. They are brutal.
Yep.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think women are so harsh to each other? When there's especially when there's this culture, and I'd honestly call it a fake culture of like girls supporting girls. And,
I would say it's fake.
It's so fake though.
I would
It's
say like I
so-
want it to be real, but it is fake.
It's so interesting because I
Um,
think it's fake.
Oh yeah.
I
I
think
think
it's
for
totally
the most
fake.
part it is fake. I mean, like I'm thinking of like my like best friends, obviously I'm supporting them.
Yeah, totally. Which makes sense.
And like I try to be supportive. I think I'm like supportive of other women. I do, but I think I can do better as well. Even someone who's like aware of it. But I do think for the most part it is pretty fake.
What is like your fakest experience with that?
Of women supporting women.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just say like there's such a pressure to be like above average when you're a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like nobody wants to be like I've seen people. I'm not gonna name names,
Yeah,
but
you
in like
don't have
high
to,
school, there was a really pretty girl,
Uh-huh.
and I'm telling him the little parts, and
Mm-hmm.
like certain girls wouldn't hang out with other girls because they're like she's too pretty, like that type of
That's
thing.
a real thing.
Yeah, that's a very real thing. I don't see it as much in like college. Like, I feel like
Right.
it's a very immature thing, but then it's like you grow up with that, like,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's
I would just say
fascinating.
girls always want to be the best, so they sometimes don't like want to surround themselves
Yeah.
with that and like uplift one another because then it puts I think people think by uplifting someone they're putting themselves down,
Yeah.
which is like not it at all, obviously not the case at all.
Totally.
But
Very interesting.
then you just have catty and comparison and all that good stuff.
Okay, speaking of women being fake and supporting other women, or like the thought behind it, what do you think about like the plus size movement in that regard?
You're gonna make me talk in the plus size movement.
You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but I think that's an area where I think there's a lot of fake women in it. I think Lizzo was actually a really good example recently because
like Lizzo.
she was fat shaming some of her dancers.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's so
It's a black girl becoming a
hypocritical.
black girl now.
And yeah, totally. And it's like, regardless of like your opinion on plus size models and stuff like that, it's like that is absolutely fascinating to see a woman who's benefited so greatly from this idea and kind of movement, and then is attacking other people because of it. It's like, wouldn't you think that like she'd lay into that? I think
Yeah.
it's so interesting.
No, I think that, honestly, topics like that I just don't even exercise my brain into because it's just like there's no point in me giving an opinion on it. You know what I mean?
Very interesting.
Things like that I just don't let my brain think about.
I'm trying to think of the Stoic philosopher that says you always have the option of having no opinion I think it was Seneca, and I think that's a good thing to exercise.
That's literally, if I don't want to, if it causes no benefit to me, that's like just a bunch of controversial opinions. Like,
it is.
I just don't get into them because it doesn't affect me. So
yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
So putting my negative opinion does nothing.
You're right.
I would not to say I have a negative opinion on that, but.
Right. I get what you mean, though.
You know what I mean?
I get what you mean, totally. Very interesting. Very interesting. How do you think women can be better friends to each other? Because I think that's another really interesting area where women...
Me and you?
Oh, I mean, we're great friends. We're great friends. But how can women be better friends to women? Because I think that's also really hard.
I would say being authentic, but I don't know how you can just like measure that. Or actually, how can it be better? I feel like it just starts maybe when you're younger, and maybe the next generation will be. And I feel like our generation is getting more and more at that.
Yeah.
At being like authentic and genuine to each other, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll ever be like as much as men are to each other. You know what I mean? Which is not to say like anything negative, but it's just. I don't know how women can be better friends with each other.
Why do you think men are so much more honest with each other?
Because you don't have this whole like external pressure to be as much, maybe. But like stereotypically, men are just go back in time. Men have always been here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like women stereotypically back, not anymore.
Yeah.
But have always been like down here. So it's like they're always trying to prove themselves. When you guys you've already proved yourselves.
I can see what you mean. I see what you mean. So you're speaking from like a social hierarchy level.
Yeah.
Men have always been at the top.
Yeah.
And then women now, because it's being normalized or been normalized for women to be in the workforce, to all these other things, to vote since suffrage movement. That now you feel like you have to like live up to
like you went through all that to make all that like actually happen.
I see.
Now it's like you can't disappoint or be average.
I see.
If that makes sense. Whereas you could
totally
probably be average at your job and no one's going to think anything of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might be a little upset, but.
Yeah. Very interesting. Wow. How do you feel like it's played out in your life?
Was that kind of smart of you?
I think that's a really interesting. I don't think you're wrong about that opinion at all. How do you think it's played out in your life, though?
It's given me a lot of anxiety. I'm just very hard on myself.
Sure.
In like every aspect. That's with soccer, with school, with my job.
What's interesting though, and how I'm gonna have a different thought on this too, is that I still find that women are the greatest. They tear down women.
Yes.
More than men tear down women, generally speaking. So for having that feeling of like having to like live up to some point, I find that women are the people that tear down other women the most, by far.
A lot of the time. I don't know how.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I like always think about it, but I have no idea.
Because that's so fascinating to me.
I don't know.
Because it doesn't make sense.
I think it's just because it's like everyone for themselves, like they just want to be seen as that. I can't figure out that one. I need to do like some research and read some things. I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into that more after. I don't know if there's like a book on that or something.
Yeah. Because I think women have like some of the greatest hearts out there. I think women have like the greatest capacity to just love people. Better than men, because I think generally speaking, men can be pretty freaking savage most of the time. Mm-hmm. And like kind of dumb. But I think women have the greatest capacity to love of both men and women. But I think they also have the greatest capacity to. I think women, generally speaking, are meaner than men. I think
to each other.
Yeah, I think like who's caused more greater societal harms? Probably men. Yeah, I think that's like that's not really a question or debate, but like in terms of like who is more like just generally speaking brutal to each other. I think women are incredibly brutal to each other. No, I know. And other people.
I'm thinking all these things in my head. I don't know. Yeah. It's
so interesting. Like don't get me wrong. Men, absolute savages sometimes, and really barbaric. I think you can see that a lot with men that are just like really driven by like maybe sex, and then that's like their only motivating thing that they're going after. But women are just a different animal in that regard.
It is. I always have that in the back of my head too, and like I try to not be a part. But even like with work, I'll be like, I want to like I'm working with a group of ladies, obviously, and I'm like, I obviously like we all help each other out and are awesome, but there is like that competition even just between us too. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So I don't know.
That's interesting. How do you think women can best support women?
Probably by all starting by admitting that. I don't know if a lot of people admit that women are that different to each other. You know what I mean? And maybe like me, they'll say it, but they don't like recognize it within themselves.
Totally.
Which, I mean, like I can recognize that within myself as well.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not like outwardly mean to women, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or other.
When do you think you may have been like the most savage to another woman?
Probably high school.
And do you
I don't know
regret
what
that looking back, you think?
I'm trying to think high school. I don't know what I did.
Yeah. And it's like, I
sure
don't bring up a specific example, but it's like, I don't know. I've been like freaking super savage to a lot of people in my life. And I definitely regret it.
I cannot picture you being savage to somebody.
Dude, where the frick is adding the, add butter and shallots? Oopsies.
Or shallots.
This is a lot of shallots, so we might just do.
And then our capers, but we have that at the end.
Yeah, I think capers should go on the end. I think that's fair.
Okay.
So let's do that. That's gonna be delicious.
How close until it's ready?
Very soon. Very soon. Shallies in.
Did you bring this oven mitt from home, or is this ours?
No, that's yours.
One of the things about my kitchen as well.
Your oven mitt. Did I already ask you what your favorite quality about women is generally?
Oh, as a whole?
Yeah.
I would just say... God, that's so... I was just going to say they're like support and love for each other, but it's like a very select few.
It's I'm
saying as a whole.
Yeah.
I would say just like compassion and empathy. Like we all know kind of things we go through with each other. There's certain things like I think coming here also not having like a ton of girlfriends right now. There's like obviously I can talk to you about anything, but there's like just a certain like a female friendship is beyond.
It's way
anything.
different.
It is so it is like the best thing in the entire world. I love female friendships. So I just think I don't know, female friendships are very special. I feel like that's the best part about being a lady.
Okay. I love it. What's special about a female friendship that's like unique that men wouldn't understand usually?
Probably like the depth and understanding. Like you guys don't like lay in bed and cry together.
No, I would never do that.
You know what I mean? Like I think you guys, you're still, even with your closest friend, you're still guarded.
There's always a guard up.
Why do you think that is? I don't know.
I think, and I know this is interesting. I know how you said you feel like women feel like they have to like always like step up to the plate. Well, I think a lot of men feel that too.
Yeah.
A lot of guys certainly
in different ways, I think.
It's a different form.
Yeah.
But a lot of men also, I think, feel like generally like they need to live up to some great calling or feeling in life that maybe they that they aren't achieving.
Yeah.
And exposing that, it's like a big chicken game. People are like, I don't want to be seen as the weak one. And I think a lot of that came from over time. I think a lot of people thought that expressing your emotions and kind of truly being vulnerable as a man was weakness. And I think we're coming to find out that the repercussions of that were not so good. I think showing weakness, and it's not even weakness, it's being vulnerable is one of the greatest gifts I think that we can give to ourselves. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys don't do too often, because there is nothing more burdensome to society than weak men. Because without strong men, generally speaking, they're the leaders, whether or not you agree to that or want that to be the case. It's like, I think generally speaking, men are kind of the leaders in society.
Maybe in the past that's just kind of been what it was.
Yeah, sure. Fine. And I think there's this incredible feeling of having to live up to some potential or something that you maybe aren't yet, or you don't know that you are.
Okay, but you're very best friend. You're very like they're not gonna care if you.
You feel like you're fake though. You feel like you're fake, and that sucks. You feel like you have to put on an act almost.
I can't wrap my head around that.
Do you ever feel like a fraud?
No.
Okay. Well, a lot of men feel like a fraud. Usually.
What does that even mean? You just feel. Thank you, Emile.
Yeah, of course. A lot of men feel like they are living out an act, and that they're not living up to their potential. Is my opinion. And they think that. But then the other thing is that there's like the societal. There's this societal thing though where men also feel like they can't talk about it. They can't talk about.
But you guys always say that, and everybody
weak.
knows it's not a thing anymore. So why does it not change? Like, why don't you just go to your friend and like give him a hug and, you know what I mean?
Because people get called weak for expressing how they feel still. It doesn't matter if that's.
But you know, you're not gonna call your friend weak. He knows, like, you know, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's that innate fear in you as a man of being
Yeah.
exposed. It's part of it. It's very interesting.
It's
Okay.
so interesting. I think maybe just I'm the world's biggest crybaby.
We're
so.
gonna take a photo together, and then we can call it there.
I'm
Lauren,
so excited.
thank you so much for joining on the podcast today.
Thanks, Emile. Thanks for not
Such
getting
a
too political
treat.
with me.
I love you. Thanks for being such a great friend for all my life. And we will have you probably back on at some point in the future once I get 1 million subscribers. So that will happen at some point. 1 mil.
Drop a like.
It's happening. Thank you.
Am I supposed to wait for you to try it?
Yeah, how does it taste?
Delicious.
Okay, great.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.